Okay, this is another video tutorial for prepping for the CCNA, and this is from Module 2 of the CCNA, and one of the ideas is summary routes. So I'm going to explain about summary routes. So here goes. Let's say you're configuring this router right here, router 1, right? And you've got to you've got all these other routers here, right? And they're all these networks, right? So you have the 10.2.1 network over here in between here. Then over here you got the 10.2.2, 10.2.3. Here's the 10.2.4, 5, 6, 7. So there's all these networks, over here. So in this router, what you would do is you'd want to maybe put routes to all these networks, right? But instead of cluttering up your routing table and having it kind of like unnecessarily complex, you could probably speed up your router by just putting in a summary route. So just one route that would direct traffic this way to get to all these networks, right? So that's what a summary route is, right? And to do that, what you need to do is you need to have all these networks, first of all, need to be kind of in order. So notice it's 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4. There's no 192 networks in here or 172 networks, right? And then over here, this isn't an explosion, this is my little graphic from OpenOffice for the cloud, right? So the internet's over here, and you're this router right here, router 1, right? So in the CCNA, you're going to see a question like this, right? What summary route can be used for router 1 to get to the internal networks? Okay, so you're router 1, what summary route could you use? And then they'll give you some choices. A, the 10.2.0.0 network /19, the 10.2.1 network /24, the 10.2.0 network /21, the 10 network /8, or the 10.2 network /22, right? So if you don't really know what you're doing, you're just like stumped, right? So you're like, okay, well, the smallest network here is the 10.2.1. So does that mean you could use this network right here? Well, if you said that, you'd be wrong, right? And then you can look here and you say, well, I know that just the 10 network, well, that's got to be wrong too, right? So, you put, this is just too general, right? No good, right? And then you say, well, just the 10.2.1 network, that's not going to work. So you cross that out, right? So you're left with the three choices of 10.2.0.0, 10.2.0.0, and 10.2.0.0. But what's up with the funny subnet mask, /19, /21, or /22? Well, the way you work this out is you write out all of these networks that you're going to summarize in binary. So I'm going to write out the 10.2.1 to the 10.2.7 networks in binary. And when you do that, it looks kind of like this, right? So here in binary, this is the 10.2.1. This one is the 10.2.2, and I forgot to change this, and this is the 3, and this is the 4, and this is the 5, and this one is the 6, and this one is the 7. Okay, and the way you do it is you look, when you line up the binary for these networks that you want to summarize, when you line up the binary, you look for the last bit going from left to right that they have in common, right? The last bit that they have in common. And when you do that, you find out, and I'm going to try to see if I can get a color change here. Color red. When you do that, and I want to get a bigger line here. Let's see here. All right, you do that, you find out that the last, oh, that's way too big. Oh, that's no good. Okay. How about this? The last bit that they have in common are these zeros right here. Okay, these zeros right here is the last bit they have in common. All of these networks have a 0 right here. But if you go one more going from left to right, you see that these top three networks, the 10.2.1, the 10.2.2, and the 10.3, they have a 0 here on this bit, but they have 1s down here on these other networks. So they don't have them all in common. The last one that they all have in common is this one right here. So then you just count it. So that's 8 bits here, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. It's the 21st bit going from left to right that they all have in common, and that means the summary route is 10.2.0.0/21, right? And we look one more time just to be sure here. You got 8, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So the correct answer, 10.2.0.0/21.